we exhibit something few other species do. The urge to know about things that have no obvious or utilitarian function. We experience epistemic curiosity. This leads to the truly astonishing breadth of stimuli, topics, and events. It seems to trigger the human appetite for information. 64,000 is the median number of words per book. Average person reads about 200 words per minute. Simple math will tell us that is one book in 320 minutes. To accomplish this in 7 days, numbers say you would have to read for 45 minutes a day. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification button, like, comment, and share. Enjoy. Welcome to the Book of the Week series. Every week as I read another amazing title, I share it with the world. My name is Igor S.F. Walker. Today we look at The Hungry Mind, The Origins of Curiosity in Childhood by Susan Engel. So how about you slow down and relax? Reduce all that noise for just a bit. Make that choice and decide to listen. In this video, we look at a book that, for the most part, does not focus on fleeting moments of curiosity, but the kind of curiosity that persists. A deeply researched, highly readable exploration of what curiosity is, how it can be measured, how it develops in childhood, and how it can be fostered in schools. Stick around till the end. I will share with you some tools I do have in use that will help you tremendously in this game of life. Discover a way to find out what actually motivates you, what innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. I will share some tools to improve your self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, and relationship management. We not only want to know how to get from here to there, what might be scary on the pathway home, or whether the plant, matter, before us is actually edible. All things any decent rodent would also want to know. But we also want to know what happened before we were on Earth. How people we've never met are living their lives. How a given building or a machine was put together. What caused a friend to behave the way she did. Why a certain novelist stopped writing. Our appetite for knowledge crosses all time zones, geographic regions, and zooms in and out from the grand to the minute. Curiosity begins as a feeling of surprise in response to something unexpected. That first feeling can be intense. It could be mild or brief or sustained. It's a deeply internal experience initially, but that is only the starting point to have any real psychological consequences. The first spark of curiosity must lead to something. Curiosity is an expression in words or behaviors of the urge to know more, an urge that is typically sparked when expectations are violated. There are 3 methods to gaining wisdom. The first is reflection, which is the highest. The second is imitation, which is the easiest. The third is experience, which is the bitterest. Much later, William James captured this ambivalence when he identified its dual nature. The susceptibility for being excited by mere novelty, and the scientific curiosity that actually drives people to seek out new information. The curiosity of a toddler is ubiquitous, and it stems from an essential human cognitive mechanism, the tendency to detect novelty. But intelligence and temperament actually come from within and are fairly impervious to outside influence, and are quite stable. Yet, curiosity is, by definition, the dynamic bond between a person's drive to know and the environment around her. No matter how eager for novelty a child is, a child can wonder only about things she actually encounters. See, babies do not launch themselves into the world of strange people and objects from the abyss. They do what every smart explorer does. They establish a base camp. The flip side to a baby's interpret exploration is her sense of safe haven. Human relationships are a key ingredient in the child's ability to investigate the physical environment. Indeed, a series of experiments has shown that children with greater emotional and self-governing resources do in fact exhibit more curiosity as they do get older. Children are not asking questions simply to pass the time, to dominate the conversation, or to keep the adult's attention. Nor are they simply practicing the pragmatics of conversation itself. Instead, preschool children use questions to scaffold their own knowledge about a range of topics. And experts argue that children use questions to gain information about things that direct experience cannot help them with. They want to know why people get old, why certain foods melt in the sun and others do not, and the like. Particular forms and uses of language are intimately tied to certain cognitive processes. The child who practices reminiscing develops what they call an extended self. A child who practices decontextualized language is more capable of decontextualized thinking. Similarly, the child who asks questions that gets answered and hears others ask questions not only learn to ask questions, but also develop the disposition to wonder about things, to actively seek answers from others. However, not all others are mothers. Children whose questions get answered are likely to keep asking more questions. That cycle, if Berlin was right, was self-perpetuating. The child feels the need to know. She asks a question. The answer satisfies her urge, which makes her likely to use the same route the next time she feels the urge to know something. In this way, the child's early question-asking experience lays down a foundation for the future. She will either experience verbal inquiry as fruitful, or she will not. The question then is not whether curiosity is important to the educational process, but rather what kinds of curiosities and under what conditions enhance learning. And answering this question is actually pure trickier than one might think. To begin with, we know that children's curiosity takes several different forms. Some children, and adults for that matter, have a general attitude of inquisitiveness. The child with an abundance of diverse curiosity can also seem distractible. In some cases, children and adults use their curiosity to distract others, to prevent focus. But many children are very curious about one or two things and very incurious about other topics. Two children might be equally curious, but not about the same thing. Take the following exchange between a 4-year-old boy and his grandmother. As they walked along a pathway in the woods near their home, the little boy has picked up a leaf and examined it. Then he noticed a small bug hurrying along the path. He asked his grandmother if the bug would eat the leaf. Now, she could have just answered she is a knowledgeable naturalist and she was in her familiar terrain, but actually she didn't. Instead, she said, "Let's find out. Why don't you put the leaf down next to the bug? Let's just wait here and see what happens." That phrase, "let's see what happens," if, when, is the cliffhanger embedded in every scientific experiment. Now, some children live in homes where they hear lots of words, a lot of descriptions, many questions, and long exchanges. Others live in homes where there's little of any of that. Or some live where there's all of these linguistic features. Similarly, some children live in homes where scientific cliffhangers are casually built into the experiences and others do not. To sum up, from an early age, some children are more curious than others. But there's also a great fluctuation from one setting to another. A child who's usually timid about opening things or asking questions can be beckoned into inquiry. Children who are ordinarily inquisitive can be hushed into a kind of intellectual listlessness. The characteristics that fuel curiosity are not mysterious. Adults who use words and facial expressions to encourage children to explore, access to unexpected, opaque and complex materials and topics, a chance to inquire with others, and plenty of suspense. These turn out to be potent ingredients. You see, research has suggested that people spend between 65 and 90% of their conversational time gossiping. One group of authors put it perfectly: people gossip with an appetite that rivals their interests in food and sex. And though psychologists have so often taken a dim view of our motivations for gossiping, the truth is our gossip serves several purposes. Gerben van Cleef and Besma asked people why they engage in various kinds of gossip. Their answers revealed four motivations: to exert negative influence on someone else, to regulate social norms for social enjoyment, and to provide group protection. The urge to hear and tell stories is universal. People in every community construct narratives for one another. We know that some families tell more stories than others. And we know that the number and quality of these stories seem to have an impact on a child's tendency to tell stories as he or she grows up. What strands of behaviors and characteristics actually lead children to use books in order to satisfy their curiosity? It begins in part with the discovery that books offer them information about things to which they have no direct access. It might be big trucks. It might be exotic birds. It might be farm animals. It might be monsters. It might be fairies. Or just details about those who live far away or those who lived long ago. Google has only made this addiction easier to feed. And many actually encourage a certain kind of curiosity among many more people. I say a certain kind because research has shown that there are, broadly speaking, two kinds of curiosities among adults. At least, diversive and specific. Specific is the first need to find ever more information on a particular topic. The person who has insatiable curiosity about, say, volcanoes may in fact show very little curiosity about people's private lives, or even something more closely related, like, say, other explosive natural events, earthquakes, for instance. But some people seem to have what is called diversive curiosity, a somewhat less penetrating or sustained curiosity about many things, a general sense of interest. Reading, then, provides an important and a vast source of satisfaction for many kinds of curiosity, but it is not only what's in books that makes reading a valuable resource for the curious mind. Children with more autonomy showed greater curiosity, measured by their interest in looking at a new piece of art, the time they spent on it, and the number of questions they've asked. Needless to say, pursuing one's curiosity requires persistence. The children who will get the most out of opportunities to work on their own, deciding what to tackle, deciding what to concentrate on, are the ones who can stay focused, stick with the question, and plan how to solve whatever problem intrigues them. In other words, at their best, autonomy and self-regulation go hand in hand. But in a world of real classrooms, every teacher must figure out how to balance the two. If a child doesn't seem to have a great deal of perseverance, focus, or self-control, the teacher must decide whether to give it more autonomy so that he has a chance to develop self-regulation, or whether to make autonomy the prize for self-control. Curiosity is an internal phenomenon, a feeling like a tickle or an itch. But it is a feeling that leads to action, including the act of thinking. Curiosity that persists, unfolding over time and leading to sustained action, inquiry, discovery, tinkering, question asking, observation, research, reflection. Such sustained inquiry may be more likely to blossom when children have free time and some time alone. Reading is one of the most accessible and richest way for people to satisfy all kinds of intellectual appetites. But books require time alone. And the kind of reading that satisfies curiosity depends on freedom to read whatever you want. And there you have it, the hungry mind. Now please do help out. It is easy. Simply like this video so more people can enjoy it. Share it too and spread the word. Do leave a comment and share your thoughts. Subscribe to my channel and stay up to date. And the link to this book is in the description below. So buy it, read, never stop learning, especially learning about yourself and nature. So gift yourself by taking the free human needs test on my website and find out what actually motivates you, what innate human need is driving all of your decisions and your behavior. And if you feel you are ready to improve your self-awareness, social awareness, your self-management and relationship management even further, do check out my Master of Life Awareness program. The links are in the description below. Thank you. Love and respect.